Cue the theme music. Hello and welcome to episode 12 of the BrickFilmer Podcast, a podcast series where I answer your animation questions. Today we have quite a few questions, some pretty good questions. I'm actually going to do something I don't usually do. I'm going to quickly go over an overview, like all of the questions I'll be answering, just to give you a quick little overview. So let's just go right through it. Let's see. How would you come up with a channel name that is creative and original? I'm a little burned out and have no time to animate, and I've been really busy with my other video ideas, more entertainment videos. I have been enjoying making the other videos, but not as much for animating. Do you still recommend that I find time to animate, even if it's just a few hours a week? What do I do when I think of a whole story that will devolve into 7 episodes and 2 movies and want to make it all in animation? It's been a year and I only have 2.5 episodes done. How can I make high budget looking scenes with low budget gear? Is the phone or DSLR better money-wise? What's your opinion on the fact that there are so few Bible Brickfilmers on YouTube? Is it better to do funny or serious brick films? Because personally, I'm more of a non-serious person, so I tend to go for funny. But what do you think? And lastly, I am trying hard to get better at Lego stop motion, but I feel like I am making little progress. Is there anything you practiced that made your animations improve a lot? And so yeah, those are the questions I'll be answering. And with that said, I guess we'll jump right into the first question. First off, let's mention the sponsor of this podcast. Yeah, you already know it. Animation Setup Checklist. It's free. Go check it out. Pin comment below. You'll find it. It's like a checklist that you use if you need help with setting up your animation. That's my there it is. Okay. Anyways, with that said, let's get into the first question. I don't know how to do that naturally. It's weird. I have to interject the podcast. Anyways, the first question is from Ezra Meyer. He asked, how would you come up with a channel name that is creative and original? Very good question. All right, so with channel names, you may realize that I'm not the most creative with channel names, aka Owen Productions. I literally just put my first name and Productions in a name. But I have helped an animator, cough off the wall animations, come up with his name, and I guess we'll break down his name off the wall animations. Literally, it's just a couple words, just meshed together, and then you just put Productions, Animations, Studios, whatever at the end of it. I think the moral of this is just don't take it too seriously. You could you could call it Breadstick Studios or whatever, or Pumpkin Pie Animations. Why am I talking about food? I don't know. But literally, it's I wouldn't yes, the channel name is permanent-ish. You can always change it, but it's good to start with a channel name that you're gonna keep. But yeah, I would maybe just pick some things you like, merge them together, and slap up Productions at the end of it. That's literally my best advice for channel names. You can tell I put a lot of thought into that. But yeah, it doesn't need to be fancy. It could literally be Fish Stick Studios. Wait, that actually sounds good. Wait. Okay, anyways, on to the next question. We have from the Big Kid 3. Here's a question. I'm a little burned out and have not had time to animate. And I've been really busy with my other video ideas, more entertainment videos. I have been enjoying making the other videos, but not as much for animating. Do you still recommend that I find time to animate, even if it's just a few hours a week. I think this really depends on where you are with stop motion. I mean, if sometimes it's good to just take a break. Like, I did challenge videos for a period. You know, I had some fun with that until it became not fun. And yeah, I wouldn't like overthink it, like, oh no, I'm not animating. I must not be an animator. Like, if you don't want to make animations, at least for this period of time, and you just want to make some fun entertainment videos, and you really enjoy making that, and you're not getting that same enjoyment from animating, then go for it. I don't think my motto is like, make what excites you and what gets you really excited. Because if you're not doing that, then what's the point at the end of the day? And I think if you just take a week off, 2 weeks off, a month off maybe from animating, you might get some inspiration and want to make some more animations. You may not. I wouldn't like think too hard on it. And bottom line, yeah, just make stuff that gets you excited. And also too, like, just, you know, making your entertainment videos the best they can be. You learn a lot of good stuff from that. Like, you learn a lot of editing techniques, you know. It's like a different aspect of like sound effects or whatever. You learn a lot from making different formats of videos aside from animation. So I think it's a good idea if you enjoy it. But yeah, don't do what doesn't enjoy you. What did I just say? Hold up, let me rephrase that. Don't do what you don't enjoy when it comes to YouTube content. Sometimes you do have to like, some days you do have to like push yourself and be like, okay, I don't really want to make this, but I gotta make this. But oftentimes it shouldn't be like that. But yeah, let's see. The next question is from Dido Vision. I hope that I pronounced that right. He asked, what do I do when I think of a whole story that will devolve into 7 episodes and 2 movies and want to make it all in animation? It's been a year and I only have 2.5 episodes done. Plus, I'm still in school. All right. So, where did my cue card go? I had this written down. Okay. So, if I were in your shoes, here's what I would do. You can take this or leave it. There's like 2 different options. One will save you a lot of time. The other one is more of a committed, like if you're really committed to the series, you know, just stick with it. But I would honestly like just review your scripts I'm assuming you have all the scripts written or whatever. And assuming that, I would just review your scripts and just see, is this all necessary to the story? Like, can I cut out some characters? Can I shorten these scenes? Can I cut out half of this episode? Can I just cut out this whole entire episode and merge it with another episode? You know, kind of condensing it as much as you can so it's more palatable to animate. Again, you don't have to do this. This is just a suggestion from a random guy on the internet. So you can do that, or, you know, just like cut it down to like 4 episodes. So you only have to make another episode and a half. Because think about it. If you have, 7 episodes in total, not including the 2 movies, and you got 2.5 episodes done. So you're looking at, and it took you a year. So you're looking at 2 to 3 more years of making this, including the 2 movies. And if you're willing to do that, I'd say go for it. If you can really get behind the story and you're like really excited, you want to see this made, and you're willing to put in that type of commitment into it, then I would say definitely go for it. And if you go that route and you find that you don't have the time to finish this series, I would say just find out a creative way to just, bring it to an end as quickly as possible. Like, you're on episode 4 and you don't have time to film the last 3 episodes. Just make the last episode like a concise ending to the story. Maybe not exactly what you were wanting, but it saves you a bunch of time and gets you to move on to another project altogether. That could be something you could do. But yeah, there's a couple different things you do. I wouldn't. Yeah, because with the Iron Squad, what I'm doing with it, I have the first episode done, like script-wise, all that. I'm animating it now, and I'm planning on doing maybe another episode, maybe a third episode, but I don't have it all set in stone. And I'm doing that first and foremost because I don't have time to script and I don't really know what I'm gonna make, but also because I don't want to make 2 scripts and find out that I have no time to actually make the brick film and all of that. I would rather finish this episode, and then when I get inspiration to make another one, I'll write the script and go make it. Maybe it'll be shorter than this one. This is a 10-minute brick film I'm making right now. So maybe it'll be shorter. Maybe it'll be longer. It all depends. But I'm not like... I personally am not like confining myself to, I have to get all of these episodes done for this story to make sense. They're kind of going to be like, each episode is its own story and conclusion. So that way, if I end after episode 2, I guess I'm treating it more like movies instead of like an episode series. So your case is obviously a bit different, but I don't think it would hurt to think in terms of that. Like you could technically end on episode 4 and you just rewrite the script. So it could technically end off on episode 4, or it can continue to episode 5 just to give you that breathing room of like, hey, I don't have to do all of this, but if I want to and I'm like super inspired to do it, I'm going to knock it out. I say knock it out, but it's going to take you a little bit of time. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say with that. I hope that made sense. If that didn't, just let me know. I think that made sense, but that could be just me. All right, let's see. The next question we have is from Productions Vaffy. He asked, how can I make high budget looking scenes with low budget gear? That is a very good question. And I think it's a very important question because not everybody wants to get a DSLR for multiple reasons, price being one of them. Another reason will be like, it's like super clunky and kind of sucks a little bit of fun out of animating. I'm definitely experiencing that. So gear, high budget gear, sometimes it makes animation easier. Other times it just gets in the way. It definitely does enhance the quality, but yeah. So I would say just make do with the gear you do have, like low budget gear. Say you have a phone to animate with. I'm assuming a decent Lego collection. Like make the sets more elaborate. Like really focus on your set design. Focus on making the lighting you do have more cinematic. Emphasize on the backlighting. Maybe get some color contrast, get some color gels over your lights to like add a little like orange to a light, just to make it more add to the color contrast. Like I like to have a white light on my set and like an orange backlight. I really like that look, and you can do that with pretty much any light. As long as you have a couple desk lamps, you can make it work. And yeah, like also a higher quality story. That also plays a big role into the overall quality of your video, not just the animation. And yeah, if you make great animations and you focus on the set design, kind of, that all depends on like what animation you're making. If it's just like test animations, maybe the set design and the story doesn't make sense, but you just want an overall higher quality look, then yeah, I would say lighting. Also, yeah, I'm going to answer that in the next question. There's a similar question to this. But yeah, I'll go ahead and pull up that next question because I'm going to answer it. Yeah. Is the phone or DSLR better money-wise? Yeah, that's pretty similar to the last question. And so money-wise, the phone is definitely better because it's cheaper. Quality-wise, DSLR is better. But if you want something in between, you can either opt for a phone macro lens so that the phone can get closer up to the minifigure. I think it's like $10 on Amazon. I almost want to get one myself, even though I don't animate on my phone, just so I can have it and try it out. I don't know. It just sounds fun to have a macro lens or a phone. And you can do that. Or if you want to, for $30, you can get a webcam, assuming you have a computer, of course. And webcam will really help with the quality and making it look better than the phone. It has some lighting stuff where like you have to pour a bunch of light on it, but it doesn't flicker like the phone does. So that's a huge perk. And yeah, I would say before you hop on board and go like, I'm gonna get a DSLR, take my money. Don't like 2 years ago, 1 year ago, I would have probably said like, yeah, DSLRs are awesome, you should get one. But now, since getting a webcam and like just animating with it, I have had so much fun animating, like so much fun animating with it, because it's just like you don't even see it. It's not even there. It's so small. Whereas the DSLR is so big and clunky. I have to put on this big old tripod. It gets in my way, and it's hard to change scenes because I have to rebuild each scene, especially with like big elaborate sets and stuff. I have to tear down walls and reposition it just to get a different scene. Whereas with a webcam, I could just put the webcam in a set and just move it around wherever I want, which is like, I would really like that. And I almost want to make all my Brickfilms with webcams now, except for the fact that the DSLR just looks so good. That's the only thing. But other than that, man, I almost want to, no, what I want to do, I almost want to like sneak in like some webcam animations in the Iron Squad and like just sneak it in and see if anybody notices the quality difference. That would be a cool little test. I might actually do that just as an excuse to use the webcam more. But yeah, I would say if you have a computer, you're willing to make an investment of $30 off eBay, get the C920, Logitech C920. It's a decent webcam. There's better webcams out there, but for the price, as far as I've researched and have found, the C920 is the best quality for the price. But if you don't want to do that, or if you don't have a computer, I would say get a macro filter for your phone. That'll definitely enhance the quality and get your phone closer up to your subjects without zooming in, which when you zoom in, it automatically like screams like this was shot on a phone. But if you have it like close up to the minifigure on like a 1x zoom with your macro filter, it looks higher quality than a phone. So yeah, I would say that's, if like bottom line, I would say if you're animating on a phone, just get a macro filter. I've talked with a couple animators and they're like, yeah, I got a macro filter for my phone. It was super cheap and it's awesome. I'm like, interesting. I thought they were more expensive. So yeah, I'm just echoing that in this podcast. Just tell you like, hey, get a macro filter. They're cheap. Don't ask me which one to get because I have no idea. But yeah, don't hop on and like get a DSLR. Not quite yet, unless you're making like short films and stuff outside of stop motion. I would or like you really just want to be a professional animator, then sure, get a DSLR. But if you're not doing that, I would get a webcam first. It at least makes it fun. DSLRs are fun to animate with, don't get me wrong. But if you're actually doing like a brick film with sets, like actual sets, or like any relatively intense fight scene with camera movement, yeah, DSLR is just getting away. It is super clunky. But yeah. Let's see. Is this the next question? Okay. The next question. Oh, I'm sorry. This question was from RS21121. I forgot to mention your name. Let's see. The next question is from Brick Missile Studios Official. He asked, what's your opinion? Actually, I'm just going to interrupt here. Brick Missile Studios. This is a prime example of how to come up with a channel name. Notice, Brick Missile. 2 totally random words smashed together with studios at the end of it. I'm not saying it's a bad name. I think it's an awesome name, but it just goes to show, you just smash 2 words together, add productions, add studios, add animations at the end of it, or just put your first name if you're boring like me. Just do that, and that's how you get a channel name. It's literally that simple. Anyways, he asked, what's your opinion on the fact that there are so few Bible Brickfilmers on YouTube? I'm not sure, honestly. I would say it would be cool if there were more. But what I don't want is a bunch of people making the same animations of like Bible stories. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a cool idea. But if there's a bunch of animators and they all make Bible stories, I would at least want them to put their own spin on it. Not in the bad way. Not like taking things out of context like that. But like put a creative spin on it and like, tell it in a creative way. That's not like straight, like word for word. In some cases, yes, it is good to do word for word from the Bible. But like, think VeggieTales. I want to see something like that for Lego animation. I almost want to make that. I've talked about it before on this podcast. I almost want to make like a VeggieTales themed Brickfilms. That would be so cool. I don't have any minifigures that would even fit the roles for like, like I don't have like any Middle Eastern minifigures, but yeah. But yeah, I think it would be cool if there were more people who made biblical brick films. I think that would be really cool. As long as they're not like direct copies of like telling the same story in the same exact way. I think it would be cool if there was like more creativity, maybe characters that weren't even in the Bible, that were like side characters that kind of add to the story. I don't know. Of course, you wouldn't like contradict the Bible in any way. You would just have some side characters, like VeggieTales does, I guess. If you don't know VeggieTales, you probably think I'm speaking random stuff, but yeah, you just gotta know. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it for that question. I honestly don't know. I think that's where I stand. Let's see. The next question is from Nator Socks. That is an awesome name. Also, this awesome lad, he commented from Spotify, which if you don't know, BrickFilmer Podcast, what? BrickFilmer Podcast is on Apple Podcast and Spotify. So if you have an account, be sure to subscribe there so you can listen to me all over again on a different platform. That sounds like an awesome idea. Okay, he asked, is it better to do funny or serious brick films? Because I personally am more of a non-serious person, so I tend to go for funny. But what do you think? I am on your side with that. I think funny animations are good. Not like cheesy funny, but like actually like, funny. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. But yeah, I would personally say funny is better, but that's an opinion. I think it honestly it's all on what the animator wants to make. If they have a cool idea for like a serious brick film that's like super cinematic, something I kind of want to make and try, then 100% go for it. If you just want to make a funny animation, also go for it. Yeah, it all depends. Like for you personally, if you see other people making a serious animation and you're just like, but I want to keep it funny, then keep it funny. That you have the creative liberties to just make whatever you want. And yeah, keep it funny. But I think it's, I really want to experiment with like a serious animation and make it like super cinematic, like with all the aspects of cinematicness. Like, that would be cool. I just don't have a good idea for it yet. But once I do, I might just scrap the Iron Squad. No, I'm kidding. I'll definitely take a break from it. All right. The last question we have. Man, this has been a short episode. Have I been rambling too fast? What? Is it really going to be this short of an episode? Maybe I'll just draw this last question out for like 20 minutes so that way I can say that, it's not a short episode. I'll just draw it out for 20 minutes. Just watch me ramble. The last question is from Teal Brick. He asked, hey, hello. I am trying hard to get better at Lego stop motion, but I feel like I am making little progress. Is there anything you practiced that made your animations improve a lot? That right there is a really good question. Really good question. I wrote down some things that I did that I can directly link to it actually improving my animations. Number one is I've been doing it for 6 years. That plays a little bit of a role into it. If you've been animating for a year and you're wanting to be at the quality that I'm at, I mean, it's possible, but I have 5 years on you, so I wouldn't compare it to that. Compare yourself to that. But yeah, it definitely does take a lot of figuring out and just seeing not only what works in general, but also what works for you and just capitalizing on that. This can play into styles of animation and like developing your style. All that stuff is necessary to like hone in on like a niche aspect of stop motion and go like, hey, I want to make silly, snappy animations. Like smiley face, dude. Like I want to make silly, snappy animations. I'm going to figure out how to make my animations more snappy. And I'm going to figure out how to write stories that are silly. And it's just like niching down into that. Not like boxing yourself in, but like getting good at one specific aspect and like kind of mastering it almost. But yeah, I spent 6 years making animations and I'm still improving. I still know that I have a lot to work on. My animations don't look as good as they could be, and I'm constantly trying to see how I can improve it, how I can, do some movements differently to flow better to how I want them to look. And yeah, it's a constant cycle of improving. I don't think you ever stop, because if you stop, then you might get complacent and kind of start getting worse at animation, which I feel like I've done a couple times, where I just I wouldn't say I stopped trying to improve, but I just like didn't animate as much, like for challenge videos. I just didn't animate as much because I was just always editing videos. Spent like 3 weeks per challenge video just editing it, as you could probably tell. And yeah, that's one of the things I did. Another thing I did, which I think really helped me out, was I stuck to a frame rate. Like, I've said it before, I'm not going to, repeat myself. I'm going to try not to repeat myself throughout these episodes. But, I was messing around with different frame rates, trying to, go higher and higher and higher, because I thought the higher the frame rate, the better. I went up to 15 FPS, and I was like, I can't do this. I got to go back to 12 FPS. And I was like 3 years ago, and I've stuck to 12 FPS ever since. I don't think I've ever changed my frame rate for any animation. I'm almost positive of that. Yeah, I don't think I've ever changed my frame rate for the past 3 years. I could be wrong, but as far as I know, I've stuck with 12 FPS. And I'll just explain why this helps is because one of the main things to get good at with animation that takes a long time to figure out, no matter what, is getting a sense of timing and knowing how long certain movements should last for. I want a snappy arm movement. Should I take 3 frames or 4 frames or 6 frames? And just getting that muscle worked out of okay, I got this movement I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this many frames, get to the peak of this movement, ease into that movement, and then finish out here, take a few frames here, and it's gonna look like this. And I don't know exactly how the animation is gonna play out before I watch it, but I have a pretty good idea, and I can almost predict it just by knowing how many frames I took and going, okay, I did this movement in 3 frames. It's going to look like this. And I can do that confidently because I've been animating at the same frame rate. If you bounce between frame rates 8 FPS, 10 FPS, 12 FPS, 15 FPS, 13 FPS, 14 FPS, 18 FPS, 24 FPS. There's a lot of frame rates to bounce around. And so it's very, very beneficial to just stick to one frame rate. And a part of that is just finding your style and saying, okay, what frame rate fits my style the best? Do I like a good choppy type of look or more of a stylistic type of look? Okay, maybe I can even try 8 FPS and just stick with that. I would say no matter what, stick with a frame rate. And if you've been doing it for a couple years, or you're really experienced with that frame rate, and you want to try something different, then go ahead. Try a higher frame rate, try a lower frame rate, and see what it's like. If you really like the look, I would say if you think it's worth it to you to relearn a lot of the timing of animation for this new look you're going for, then switch to that frame rate. I almost want to say you don't want to keep animating at 2 different frame rates, because that can get... You can do it. It's just you'd be good at 2 frame rates but great at none. At least that's how I see it. And so, yeah. I think you get the point there. And the next thing I did was I tried new things. One thing I've learned, I watched a tutorial and I was be more ambitious. I don't know why that helped me out so much, but it did. I was like, oh, I've been playing it safe. I've been playing it safe with my animations. I've been, kind of putting myself in this box of okay, I'm not gonna try this new thing because I don't know, it probably won't look good. I don't want to redo this scene. I'm just gonna make it look. I'm just gonna play it safe and do what I know to do. And once I still fall into this sometimes where I'm okay, I just want to get the scene done. I'm not going to try anything different. Just going to do what works for me. And yeah. But I think once I learned to try things that were hard and I never did before, it helped me to like expand my skill set and go like, okay, I can do this. Like have a minifigure do a double front flip. I don't know. Have some camera movement in your scenes while your minifigure is punching somebody. Try this different stuff, try these different techniques, and just play around with it. Don't get good at something and just go like, okay, I'm only going to do this. Because one, it's going to get boring, and two, you're not going to improve. So just always try to do new stuff. Even if it doesn't look good at first, you can always redo a scene. Side note, I redid a scene for the Iron Squad. The first time I did the scene, which didn't turn out that great, the first time I animated that scene, took me a while to do, and it looked horrible. But then I decided to redo it, and it took me like half the time, and it looked like 5 times as good. I'm like, man, I nailed that, because I already knew what I was animating and what not to do. And so I just went off of that, and it just made the animation process like so much easier for me. And so, yeah, don't be afraid to redo stuff. If it doesn't look good, especially if you're trying new stuff, if it doesn't look good, redo it. If you need to do it again, redo it again. Like, you can redo it 5 times. It's fine. Like, keep redoing the shot until you get something that looks good. I will say, however, especially if you're just starting out, don't chase perfection. I know I just said redo a bunch of times if you want, but don't do it to a level of where you're trying to meet an impossible standard. You're still starting out, so don't expect to make an like super breathtaking animation right now. I just want you to redo a scene until it's better than the last scene. And if you keep doing that, then you're going to improve a lot. And pair that with sticking to a frame rate and trying new things. And also, second to last thing, is I watched a bunch of tutorials. Because I want to say I didn't watch a stop motion tutorial until about my second or third year. I want to say my third year of animating. Because I just had like a book about animation. I thought that was all I needed to know. And so I just made these horrible looking animations thinking they were awesome. But then I started watching YouTube videos about animation tutorials and techniques. And I learned a lot from that, and I just implemented that slowly but surely. And I just got good at it. So I would say watch a bunch of tutorials, but also like if there's a cool technique that you really like that they teach, like whether it be animation, set design, whatever, if you like it, implement it immediately in your next animation. That way you can already, exercise that muscle and get better at it. And so that's all the things I did, because on year 3, up until year 3, where I like started watching tutorials, started sticking to a frame rate, it wasn't there that I tried new things. That was a year or 2 afterwards. But when I started doing that, I got better animation a lot quicker, and I kind of got out of this animator's plateau where like I was not improving. I was sometimes improving, sometimes like the opposite. Like I was getting worse at animation. And so, but once I did all those things, I started getting better noticeably at animation. And I kept improving, which was really cool. Really got me pumped. I was like, yeah, I can do better. This is awesome. Let me do more. And so, yeah, that's what I did. And I'll leave you with one last thing that I didn't do as much as I would have liked to do. And this still applies to me now. I want to do more of these. And that is animation tests. I would have liked to do more animation tests and this plays into like trying new things. This is like where you try those new things, is like dedicated animation tests that aren't even related to whatever brick film you're making. It's literally just like no set, no nothing, maybe not even a base plate. Just your minifigure doing something that you never did before. Oh, excuse me. I might have to edit that out. But yeah, doing new things in like animation tests also makes it a lot more fun because you're not like bouncing from scene to scene going like, okay, I gotta get this set just right, gotta get the sliding just right, gotta get everything looking just good. This is where like you put every aspect of what you know about animation into a brick film. But with an animation test, you're just taking one aspect that you want to learn and practicing it, which is like very nice because you're just focusing on one thing. And the more I talk about it, more I think about it, the more I want to do more animation tests because it's just so fun to make. It's so fun. I'd also say, make animation tests, like make a brick film. Like if animation tests are taking up too much of your time and you just want to make brick films, I would say make a brick film based around like different animations that you want to make, like animation tests. Like say you want to try animating a guy falling and the camera tracking him and like set pieces moving up to make it look like he's falling. And then you want to make an animation test where a clone shoots a droid and on this droid just like is like on the ground, like super impactful, and you want to try it out. And then there's this other thing you want to animate. What if you just pieced it all together and made like a cool little story, silly story based around that? All of the animation tests you want to make, and just using that. So that way you can practice animating while also making, dedicated animations that you can post on YouTube or whatever. I mean, you can still make animation tests and post it as a compilation. That's what I like to do. But if you're not a fan of that, or you want to have more silly stories, then yeah, just piece a bunch of animation tests together, make it into a cool little story, and do it that way. I think that would be a cool idea. But yeah, I told you I was going to ramble for like 20 minutes. I told you. It was like 15 minutes, but still. Dude, how does that happen? I just talk for as long as I need to, and it just I wasn't even trying. I was just going off on a tangent, okay? Okay. I think this is a good stopping point. Yeah, that's all the questions. If you have any questions you want me to answer in the next podcast, leave them down in the comments below. Be sure to check out that animation setup checklist I have. I'll just go over what it is because I know a lot of people are like, what is this? Not a lot of people, just a couple people. But it's just a checklist. It's like it goes over your surroundings, like close your windows, basic stuff. But also some like cool stuff like take a slow motion video of your lighting to check if they flicker. Some different lighting stuff. Camera setup, camera settings. Like all that stuff to like set up for animation and some more stuff too. Like I try to put a lot of value into it so it can help you out. So you can like literally reference it every time you set up for an animation. So you just make sure you're doing all the good stuff to make your animations look as good as they can be. It doesn't go over animation or stuff. It's just literally the animation setup. So yeah, that's what literally it is. If you're interested, check it out. Link in the pinned comment below. If I haven't put it down there, it's in the description. And yeah, I am going to end the episode. I don't know why. I treat this like a live stream where like I'm like delaying the ending. I'm just going to end. Thank you so much for listening. You don't watch this. That would be weird if you just had a screen up and you're just watching a blank screen. That would be really weird. Anyways, thank you for listening until the end. God bless you and have an awesome rest of your day.